Blender's coming to iPad. Photoshop's new Harmonize feature makes compositing a 2-click process, and we've got some hard truths about when AI tools actually slow you down instead of speed you up. It's Motion Mondays. I'm super excited about this new Photoshop Remove tool, you guys. It really works great. Blender 4.5 LTS just dropped, and it's packed with massive improvements across the board. We're talking modeling, sculpting, geometry nodes, animation, grease pencil, the list goes on. The modeling features using booleans look super fast and snappy, and sculpting tools have been improved with better speed on different sculpting brushes. Animation-wise, they've added enhanced snapping, bone display overrides, post selection, and shape key management. Grease Pencil 3.0 got improved compatibility and rendering upgrades, but a lot of this speed boost comes from the new Vulkan backend that's now on par with OpenGL. Now, this whole Vulkan thing is actually what makes our next big story possible, and that's the massive news that Blender is coming to iOS. This makes one of the most accessible 3D apps even more accessible by adapting to mobile devices, and of course, it's gonna be free. You also wonder if it's going to create a better UI UX situation and remove the need for memorizing those 1,000 shortcut keys. Now, what I've seen from the website preview of what the UI looks like, it's interesting. So number one, the UI is about as bright as the sun. It's very bright. I hope they have a dark mode.
I see the light that burns!
And number two, it looks very macOS 1.0, which is a choice. But one of the big features that they are going to have on the iPad app is going to be sculpting, which makes a lot of sense because it lends itself to the Apple Pencil. So Grease Pencil is coming down the line, and I think that a Grease Pencil experience on the iPad is pretty intriguing. And this is going to be a one-to-one port. They plan on moving all the functionality from the desktop to the iPad, very much like how they did with ZBrush for iPad with all the desktop power. And if you're headed to SIGGRAPH, you can actually get a sneak peek of Blender on iOS. Now, I'm interested to see what you think about Blender moving to the iPad. Leave a comment. Would love to know what you think about this news. Now onto some School of Motion news. We just launched quarterly pricing, which has been a high demand request for quite a while now. You can now pay per quarter for complete access to all of our courses. We're talking unlimited critique, verified credentials, community access, and monthly portfolio reviews. Now, you actually save money with our annual plans, but if you want access to our courses for a limited time, quarterly gives you that flexibility. Now, course-wise, we have a Rive Academy Volume 2 launching in just a couple weeks. We're also finishing our next After Effects course, working on cavalry training, Unreal for broadcast design, Substance Painter, and other UI UX animation courses. And on top of all of our new courses, we do have exclusive all-access monthly portfolio reviews and live workshops with industry leaders. And now our next one is happening August 14th with the very talented PJ Richardson from Laundry Studios. He has been traveling all over the globe, giving talks on the state of the industry and how to thrive in the age of AI. And I was super happy to talk with him earlier this year on our podcast. Such a great conversation. And his workshop's going to focus on how his studio's integrating AI within their existing pipeline, which is the big thing I think everyone is trying to figure out these days. So be sure to sign up to All Access so you can be a part of it all. Links are in the description. Photoshop made waves last week when they announced a bunch of releases to Photoshop Beta that are all utilizing Firefly AI. The biggest one is Harmonize, which doesn't help you sing in a boy band, but it does help you turn compositing tasks into a couple clicks. It blends images seamlessly together even when they're shot under different lighting conditions. And typically, this would take a lot of compositing work, and you can see in the examples that it adds contact shadows, matches the lighting in the scene, and gives you options so you can kind of keep generating. I actually did some tests myself using this 3D model from our Cinema 4D courses here at School of Motion, exported it out of Cinema 4D as GLTF, brought it into Substance 3D Viewer, and then from there exported it directly into Photoshop. And there, I generated a few backgrounds using Firefly AI, and then while my controller model had very basic lighting that of course did not match the lighting situation of the background, what I had to do is just select the layer, click on Harmonize, and boom, it created a few options that allowed you to match the lighting situation. So this was pretty incredible to use. So some other features they added were generative upscale. So you can actually go and upscale an image by up to 4 times. So if you have a very low quality image, you could push it all the way to 4K, which is pretty crazy. They also updated the remove tool, which does a much better job at removing things from scenes. Definitely great for removing your X from all your photos. Now over in After Effects land, which seems to never get any AI tools, which is kind of weird, we got a new script from AE Scripts and AE Plugins called Cleanup Master Pro. Basically what it allows you to do is improve anything you're doing with shape layers, especially shape layer based character animation. You can solo different selected shape layer groups and even solo keyframes, a lot like Cinema 4D's kind of layer solo tools. And if you had everything in one layer, it would be very hard to adjust things, but what this allows you to do is adjust points in multiple layers at once. You don't have to split out layers anymore. Now, one of the cool things is that you can delete points and keep the animation intact, so you don't have to deal with all those extra points if you don't need to. You can also parent groups to nulls as well. So this is a very handy tool for anyone that works with a lot of shape layers, specifically for character animations. Now on to some cool work from across the interwebs. First up is some super cool work from Symbiotic for SAES Design House, where they used animals to demonstrate different features of Bipod, a food preservation system. There's some amazing quality rigging of these characters, especially the octopus tentacles, and love these little penguin guys walking around. Frog rigging and animation is super on point. Materials look super realistic. And what I love is they also gave a behind the scenes breakdown on the Stash website, showing how they rigged up all the characters. And you just realize all the work that goes into making these animals kind of come to life. Definitely check it out over on Stash's website. Next, there's this very interesting piece by director Rich Weber and the legendary Aardman studio for Coinbase. So here's a crypto company that is embracing future technology, but they chose the traditional stop motion route for their campaign and not AI, which is kind of interesting. So you can see that Wallace and Gromit kind of vibe, but look at the expressive movements and all the details, especially when the birds pop up and you see those little animation smears. I'm sorry, AI, but you can't touch this level of human care, attention to detail, and personality. Well, yet, I guess, at least. And speaking of AI, animation director Yuri Lotan shared something interesting about his post-AI depression guilt from using AI. He shared how he used AI in a personal project where he first sketched out a character in Photoshop, uploaded that to ChatGPT so it could help him generate a 3D version of it, and then he used Tripo 3D to generate the 3D model based off that 3D image. Then he brought it into Blender, added materials, rigged it up, and put it in a scene that he made himself. It's an interesting use case of AI where you're just using it to generate a single asset that you use in an overall piece that you have total control over. And I think it's important to point out the mixed feelings that Yuri had. And I think it's okay to feel those feels. I think we have to remember that as long as we feel like we still have a say, that we're part of the process and you feel yourself in that piece, you can stay true to your vision without really feeling dirty about using AI, because you're still part of the process, right? And finally, to close this all out, Joey shared this honest story about when using AI doesn't work out so well. Studio Black Math shared their experience trying to use AI to create a Rankin Bass style fake stop motion holiday broadcast using Live Portrait, which is an AI lip sync tool that proved kind of difficult. They even needed to temporarily add noses to their stylized character faces just to get decent lip sync. So the key takeaway here is that it took them a very long time to achieve merely passable results that they still had to fix in post anyway. So this perfectly illustrates when a shortcut isn't actually a shortcut because the results really didn't improve the pipeline at all. Stories like this kind of serve as important reminders that AI right now is very far from that one big fat easy button, and that artistic, technical, and aesthetic skills remain and will continue to be incredibly valuable as we go deeper into the age of AI. Now you can find links to all the things that we just highlighted in the description below. And sticking with character animation, Cascadeur announced 2025.2 with improved in-betweens. The Cascadeur is known for AI-assisted character animation that helps you work with character rigs and will automatically add physics to it. Now their in-between system has a new style option that allows you to control the type of motion made by the tool. You can say, okay, in these in-betweens, I want you to run from spot A to spot B, or I want you to walk from spot A to spot B. And they also up the maximum animation generated by those in-betweens to 120 frames. So if you're looking to speed up your character animation, this is definitely a great tool to mess around and play with. Now on to our School of Motion Student of the Week, Sharon Moon, who just started our illustration for motion class on All Access. She did the first assignment that tasked her with creating one of her favorite lunch dishes, and she chose a Korean bento box. That sounds tasty. Now, I love the shading, the attention to detail, use of color. You can check out more of her awesome work over at our website, SharonMoon.com, and she just launched her Instagram account, so be sure to give her a follow. So Photoshop added its new AI features, which allow you to do a lot with still images, but Runway just announced a new video tool called Aleph, and it's actually pretty killer. It allows you to remove objects from videos, change camera angles from existing videos that you input, and composite effects into shots. So this is kind of like the video version of what Harmonize does in Photoshop. It's pretty insane what this can do. There's examples of compositing crowds, removing crowds from streets, changing weather in shots, expanding scenes from existing shots, and a ton of VFX stuff. The CEO on LinkedIn showed some crazy examples of this busy street in Times Square and how they removed a lot of people from the shot. Although you can see that not everything that shines is gold, there's still a lot of cleanup work needed there. And they also demonstrated some of the issues that Black Math experienced with their project. So a callback to the fact that AI doesn't do everything for you. It can help you, but it's not a perfect one-click solution, again, yet. JangaFX just released LiquiGen, and we've been talking about this for quite a while now. These liquid sims look crazy good, and what's impressive is that it's all in real time, which is also just insane. You can create all your liquid sims and export them to any game engine or 3D app using Alembic or Render Mesh flipbooks. So real-time liquids are pretty incredible, and you can grab it over at JangaFX. Unfortunately, right now, there's no Mac OS version, but it's planned for version 1.1, which will hopefully be released soon. And finally, we have Natsura, a third-party foliage modeling toolset for Houdini. So if you're a tree lover and love to hug your trees, you can now generate all the trees and foliage you want inside Houdini. You can see all the procedural systems and the branching that you can do. This really lends itself to Houdini's procedural setup, where you can create all different types of foliage, super easy, and even have things grow over time. This looks pretty powerful, and it's all part of SideFX's Project Elderwood, which is a whole tool set of building natural environments for games. Also, be sure to pause from building natural environments to actually experiencing them. Go outside. Okay? And that's it for this week's Motion Mondays. Don't forget to sign up for PJ's All Access exclusive workshop on August 14th and check out our new quarterly pricing options. And be sure to subscribe so you'll be the first to know when our newest course, Rive Academy Volume 2, drops. So have an awesome week. I'll see you next time.